black?
I am in mourning for my life. I'm unhappy.
Why? I don't understand what you mean. You're healthy. Your father's not rich, but he's not poor. My life is much harder than yours. I get only 23 rubles a month, and out of that they deduct the pension fund, but I don't wear mourning.
It isn't a question of money. Even a poor person can be happy.
That's a fine theory, but it doesn't work out so well in practice. Take my case, for example. There's me and my mother and my two sisters and my little brother, and we all have to eat and drink on 23 rubles a month. Then we have to have tea and sugar and tobacco, and so it goes. Round and round.
The play will begin soon.
Yes. Nina Zaryechna is to act in a play by Konstantin Yevgelovich. They're in love with each other, and today their souls are mingling in a longing to create some image true to both of them. My soul and your soul have no common ground. I love you so much that I can't sit home alone. So every day I walk 4 miles here and 4 miles back and meet nothing but indifference on your part. I suppose it's natural. I have no private means. We're a big family. Who'd want to marry a man who can't even provide for himself?
Nonsense. I'm touched by your love, but I can't return it. Help yourself.
No thanks. I don't feel like it right now.
The air is heavy. We'll probably have a storm. All you do is explain yourself and talk about money. You think there's nothing worse than poverty. But I think it's 1,000 times easier to wear rags and beg than... You wouldn't understand.
For some reason, who knows, my boy, the country's not my style. It just isn't. And it's too late to change me now. Last night, I went to bed at 10. This morning, I woke up at 9, feeling as if all that sleep had glued my brain right to my skull, just like that. And then I fell asleep again after lunch, and now I'm a wreck. I feel as if I'm still in a nightmare. Do you know how that is?
You're right, Uncle. You're clearly a man who ought to be living in town. You two shouldn't be here. You'll be called when we're ready, but right now you'll have to go.
Marya Ilyinichna, I wish you'd ask your father not to tie that dog up at night. It kept my sister awake again all last night.
You'll have to ask my father yourself. I won't, so please don't ask me. Let's go.
You let us know when the play's to begin then, won't you?
That means the dog will howl again all night. You see how it is? In the country, I've never had my way. I used to get leave for a month, say, and come down here to rest and so forth. But when you get here, they bother you so with every sort of nonsense that after the first day, you'd want to leave again. Leaving here was always the best part. Anyway, now I'm retired with nowhere to go, and so like it or not, I'm here.
Konstantin Gavrilovich. We're going for a swim. All right. But you must be back at your places in 10 minutes. We're going to begin soon.
Very good, sir.
What do you think of this for a theater, Uncle? The curtain, the wing, empty space. No scenery. You look straight out onto the lake and the horizon. The curtain goes up at exactly 8:30. Just as the moon rises.
Magnificent!
If Nina's late, of course, the whole effect will be spoiled. She should be here by now. But her father and stepmother are always watching her. It's hard for her to escape from that house as from a prison.
Your hair and beard are a mess. You ought to have them trimmed. It's the tragedy of my life. Even when I was young, it always looked as if I was drunk or something. Women have never been attracted to me. Oh. Tell me, why is your mother in such a bad mood today?
She's bored. And she's jealous. She's hostile to me and my play because Nina's acting and she's not. She hasn't even seen my play or read it, but already she hates it.
Oh, is that really true?
Yes. She She's already mad, because even on this little stage, it will be Nina's success and not hers. The psychological case, my mother. She's certainly talented, clever, sensitive, capable of crying over a book. She can recite the whole of Necklace off by heart. And when you're sick, nurse you like me. Only try praising Dusa in her presence. Oh no, not that. You must only praise Mother. You must write reviews about her. Go into ecstasies over her performance in Camille, or the fumes of life. But as such intoxicating admiration is not to be had in the country, she's poor, and she gets cross. For all her enemies, it's our fault. And she's superstitious. Afraid of the number 13 or 3 candles on the table. And she's a miser. She has 70,000 rubles in a bank in Odessa. I know that for a fact. Ask her to lend you some, she'll burst into tears.
Oh, somehow you've gotten it into your mind that your mother doesn't like your play or something. Don't worry. She worships the ground that you walk on.
Loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. There you see. Mother doesn't love me. Well, why should she? She wants excitement, romance, younger men. Here I am, already 25. When I'm not around, she's 32. When I am, she's 43. She hates me for that. She also knows I don't believe in the theater. She adores the theater. She believes she's serving both mankind and the sacred cause of art. As far as I'm concerned, the theater today, it's boring, trite. Well, the curtain goes up. Inside 3 walls, lit by artificial light, are famous stars, those high priests of art. Parade about, showing us how to eat and drink and walk and love and wear our clothes. And then the playwright tries to squeeze a moral out of it. Some smug little moral, all cozy, perfectly fit for home consumption, and each play repeats this formula with only infinitesimal variation. That's why I have to run, like Maupassant, who ran from the Eiffel Tower because he knew it would cheapen his mind.
Oh, but we must have a theater.
We need a new kind of theater, Uncle. We need new forms. If we can't have them, let's have no theater at all.
Oh.
I love my mother. But she leads such a stupid life. Always fussing about that writer of hers, always getting her name in the papers. It's too boring. Maybe it's just selfishness. I wish I didn't have a famous actress for a mother. I'd be much happier if she were just an ordinary mortal. Can you imagine what it's like? Life at home with her, Uncle, how I feel. The living room is always full of people. All of them famous writers or actors. And the only nobody is me. And who am I? What am I? I'm her son. It's the only reason they put up with me. I left the university my 3rd year, owing to circumstances, as they say, beyond our control. I had no talent, not a kopeck to my name. And according to my passport, I'm a bourgeois of Kiev. It's my social position. My father was a bourgeois of Kiev too, but he happened to be a famous actor. So whenever the famous writers or actors, musicians in my mother's living room noticed me, I felt as if they were measuring my insignificance. I imagined I could read their thoughts. I was going through agony.
Tell me, what sort of man is her writer? You see, I can't make him out. He never opens his mouth.
He's intelligent, simple, rather melancholy. He seems decent. He's under 40, and he's famous. He has everything he wants. As for his writing, you could say it's charming and clever, but compared to Tolstoy or Zola, nothing much.
I love literary people, my boy. There were two things that I wanted passionately in my life. To marry and to be a writer. But neither of those things happened. It must be nice to be even a second-rate writer. I mean,
And here's someone coming. I can't live without her.
Oh.
Even the sound of her footsteps is beautiful. I'm wildly happy. My darling one. My dream.
I hope I'm not late. I'm not late, am I?
No.
Oh, I was worried all day. I was so frightened. I was afraid Father wouldn't let me come. He just went out now with my stepmother. I raced the horse so fast. The sky's already red and the moon will be up very soon. But I'm happy now. I'm here.
You've been crying. I can tell by your pretty little eyes. Well, now that won't do. It really won't.
It's true. You can see how out of breath I am. Please, let's hurry. I have to go in half an hour. No, I have to. Don't ask me to stay longer because I can't. My father doesn't even know I'm here.
All right, it's time to begin now anyway. I'll go call everyone.
Oh, I'll go. I'll go right now. We're marching to France where the view into Russia we I remember one day I started to sing that, and an assistant prosecutor was standing next to me saying, "Your Excellency has a very strong voice." Then he stopped and thought about it and said, "My very strong but unpleasant."
My father and his wife won't let me come here. They say it's bohemian. They're afraid I'll become an actress. Drawn to me to a lake. Like a seagull. My heart is so full of you.
You're wrong.
Isn't that someone over there?
No, it's no one.
What kind of tree is that?
An elm.
Why does it look so dark?
It's evening now. Everything looks darker. Don't go away early. Please don't.
I must.
I'll follow you home. I'll stand all night in the garden and look up at your window.
No, you mustn't. The watchman would see you, and Trester doesn't know you. He'd bark.
I love you! Who is it? Is that you, Yakov? Yes, sir. You better get in your places. It's time to begin. Is the moon rising? Yes, sir. Have you got the methylated spirit? Is the sulfur ready? Now, when the red eyes appear, there's got to be the smell of sulfur. You better get in your places. It's time to begin. Are you nervous?
Yes! Terribly. Oh, I don't mind your mother so much. I'm not afraid of her. Trigorin will be here. I'm terrified of acting in front of him. He's such a famous writer. Is he young?
Yes.
Oh, he writes such fantastic stories.
Does he? I don't read them.
You know, your play is very hard to act. There are no living people in it.
Why should there be? I don't want to show life as it is, or as it should be, but the way it is in our dreams.
There's practically no action in your play, just talk. And I think there should always be love in a play.
In the language of love, oh gentle flower.
It's getting damp. Go back and put your galoshes on.
I'm too hot.
You don't take care of yourself. You're so stubborn. You're a doctor and know perfectly well the damp air is bad for you. But you want me to suffer. You sat on the terrace the whole of yesterday evening on purpose. You were so carried away talking to Irina Nikolaevna. You didn't even notice the cold. Admit you find her attractive.
I'm 55.
So what? That's not old for a man. You're still good looking. Women like you.
So what do you want me to do?
Men are always ready to throw themselves at the feet of an actress. Always.
If people are fond of actors and treat them differently, say than shopkeepers, that's very natural. It's the pursuit of the ideal.
Women have always fallen in love with you, thrown themselves around your neck. Is that the pursuit of the ideal too?
Possibly. There's a lot of good in the feelings women have had for me. What they have loved in me most is that I'm a good doctor. Remember, 10 or 15 years ago, I was the only decent obstetrician in the county. And besides that, I'm an honest man.
And a dear one. And I love you.
Careful, someone's coming.
At the Poltava Fair, 1873, she was fantastic. Just fantastic. A sheer delight. Do you happen to know where the comedian Chayton is? Pavel Chayton? Why, his Raswire was even finer than Sadowski's. Oh, it was, dear lady. I assure you it was. But, where is he now?
You keep asking me about people from before the flood. How should I know where he is?
Ah, good old Pavel. There's nobody like him now. The theater is not what it used to be, Irina Nikolaevna. Why, there were mighty oaks in the old days, but now there's only stumps.
It's true there aren't many great talents on stage these days. But the general level of acting is much higher.
Oh, I can't agree with you, sir. However, I suppose it is a matter of taste. De gustibus, aut bene, aut nihil.
Oh, my dear, when is it going to stop?
In a minute, Mother. Just please be patient.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnest mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and granite spots as will not leave their teeth.
Nay, but to live in wickedness, to seek love in the depths of sin. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The play is about to begin. I'm starting now. Oh, you ancient shades that at night float over this lake, lull us to sleep now and bring us dreams of what will be in 200,000 years.
200,000 years, there will be nothing.
Then let them show us that nothing.
Yes, let them. We sleep.
Man and lion, eagle and quail, deer, geese, spiders, the silent fish dwelling in the deep, starfish and tiny creatures invisible to the eye, these and every form of life. Every form of life has ended its round of sorrow and become extinct. For thousands of centuries the earth has borne no living creature. In vain now does this poor moon light her lamp. No longer do the cranes wake and cry in the meadow, and in the linden groves the hum of beetles is no longer heard. All is cold, 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 and empty. Terrible, terrible, terrible. The bodies of all living beings have dissolved into dust. Eternal matter has transformed them into stone, water, and cloud, and their spirits are merged into one. I am the soul of the world. In me is the spirit of Alexander the Great, of Caesar, Shakespeare, Napoleon, and and of the lowest form of worm. In me, the consciousness of man and the instincts of animals are one. I remember everything. In me, each life lives.
We're in for something decadent.
I am alone. Once every 100 years I open my lips to speak and my voice echoes sadly in the void. No one hears. You too, pale flames, you hear me not. The disintegration of marsh gives birth to you toward morning and you flicker till dawn. Without thought, without will, without the throb of life. But, fearing that life might be born in you, Satan, the father of eternal matter, every moment produces a change in atoms. You and stones and water are endlessly changing. Only I, the soul of the universe, remain unchanged. I am eternal. I am like a prisoner thrown into a deep, empty well. I don't know where I am or what awaits me. Only one thing is not hidden from me. In the savage, stubborn struggle with Satan, the prince of matter, I am destined to win. And then spirit and matter will merge in harmony and become one, and the reign of universal will begin. But that will only happen when, after countless millennia, moon, bright dog star, and the earth have all turned to dust. Until then, horror and desolation. My mighty enemy Satan approaches. I see his terrible blood-red eyes.
I smell sulfur. Is that part of the flame?
Yes.
Oh, I see. A scenic effect.
Without man, Satan is lonely.
Taking your hat off. Put it back on and you'll catch cold.
The doctor's taking his hat off to the devil, the father of eternal matter.
The play is over! That's enough! Curtain!
What are you angry about?
That's enough! Curtain! Close the curtain! You must forgive me. I should have remembered that only a chosen few are allowed to write plays or act in them. I've infringed on a monopoly.
What's the matter with him?
You can't treat a young man's pride like that.
What did I say?
You've hurt his feelings.
But he told us beforehand it was for our amusement. I just took him at his word. of
No,
course.
the less.
And now it appears he's written a masterpiece. He's got up this performance and fumigated us with sulfur. Not as entertainment, but as a lesson. He wanted to teach us how to write and how to act. I'm sick of it. It gets very boring. His perpetual digs at me would wear out the patience of a saint. He's nothing but a capricious, conceited boy.
He only wanted to please you.
Is that so? Then why couldn't he have written an ordinary play instead of making us listen to this depraved nonsense? I don't mind listening to rubbish occasionally to be entertained. But this has pretensions to art, to ushering in a whole new era in the theater. Well, I don't see new forms in it. I see nothing but the expression of a spiteful mind.
Everyone writes what he likes and what he can.
Let him write what he likes and what he can, but don't ask me to listen to it.
Great Job is angry.
I'm not Job. I'm a woman. And I'm not angry. I'm only sorry to see a young man wasting his time so. I didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
Nobody has any grounds for making a distinction between matter and spirit. After all, spirit itself may be nothing more than a combination of atoms. Now, somebody would write a play showing how a schoolmaster lives. It's a hard life.
Of course you do. But let's not talk about plays or atoms. It's such a beautiful evening. Do you hear? They're singing. That's lovely.
It's on the other side of the lake.
Come here, Lily. Ten or 15 years ago, we had music and singing on the lake every night. There's 6 big country houses around the shore here. And there was always laughter and noise and people firing guns and making love without end. And the Jean Premier of it all, the idol of 6 houses, was our friend here, Dr. Yevgeny Sergeyevich. Oh, he's charming now, but then he was irresistible. My conscience is beginning to bother me. Why did I hurt my poor boy's feelings? I feel bad. Kostya! Darling, Constantine!
I'll go look for him.
Would you, my dear?
Yoo-hoo! Constantine! I guess we're not going on so I can come out. Good evening.
Bravo! Bravo!
Bravo! We were all enchanted. Such beauty and such a lovely voice. It's a sin for you to bury yourself in the country. You have talent, believe me, you must go on the stage.
That's the dream of my life. But it will never happen.
Who can tell? Let me present Boris Alexeyevich Strigor.
Oh, I'm so happy. I read everything you write.
Oh, don't be shy, my dear. He has a very simple soul for such a famous man, don't you, darling? You see how shy he is?
I suppose we could open the curtain now, can't we? And she'll press it this way.
Yasha, open the curtain.
It's a strange play, isn't it?
I didn't understand a word of it. But I enjoyed watching it. You were very sincere. And the scenery was lovely. I suppose there are a lot of fish in this lake.
Yes.
I love to fish. There's nothing I'd rather do than sit by the water at sunset and watch the cork floating.
But surely for one who has experienced the joy of creation, no other pleasure can exist.
You shouldn't say things like that. When people compliment him, he doesn't know what to say.
I remember one evening at the Moscow Opera when the great Silva hit Low C. By a strange coincidence, it happened that the bass from our own church choir was sitting in the second balcony. Suddenly we heard from there, "Bravo, Silva!" Except a whole octave lower, like this. "Bravo, Silva!" The audience was thunderstruck. Or you could have heard a pin drop.
An angel of silence has flown over us.
Oh, I must go.
Oh, where are you off to? Why so soon? We won't let you go.
Papa will be waiting for me.
Ah, what a man he is, really. We can't help that. It's sad to lose you.
If you only knew how much I don't want to go.
Oh, but someone must see you home, darling.
Oh, no, no.
Don't go.
I must, Pyotr Nikolaevich.
Oh, just stay one more hour. Come on, really, do.
I can't.
Oh, that poor little girl. They say her mother left her whole fortune to her husband down to Lakota. And now she's left with nothing because her father's already willed it to his second wife. It's shocking.
Her father's nothing but a scoundrel.
What do you say we go in? It's getting damp and my legs ache.
Oh, your poor legs. They're stiff as wood. Here, let me help you. Come along, you old patriot.
Madam?
Oh, there goes that dog barking again. I wish you'd tell them to unchain that dog, Ilya Afanasyeevich.
Get done, Pyotr Nikolaevich. You'll have thieves in the bar. I've got my billet there. A whole octave more. Bravo, Silva! And she wasn't even a concert singer, mind you, just an ordinary choir person.
I don't know. Maybe I don't understand anything. Or I'm going crazy. But I liked that play. There was something in it. When that girl talked of loneliness, and later when those red eyes appeared, my hands just trembled. It was all so fresh and direct. I think he's coming. I want to say all the nice things I can to him.
So they've all gone. I'm here. Masha's hunting for me all over the park. What an unbearable creature.
Constantine, I liked your play extremely. It's strange, and of course I'd hear it again. But it made a deep impression on me. You've got a lot of talent. You must write more.
What a nervous creature you are.
Tears in your eyes. Now what was it that I wanted to say? You chose an abstract subject, and that was quite right, because every work of art should express a great idea. Nothing can be beautiful unless it's serious. It constitutes a fairy tale.
So you think I should go on?
Oh, yes. But only write what's important and timeless. I've had a good life, you know. Full of variety. I've made good choices. But I think if I ever had the chance to experience the luck that artists must feel, I think I would have put away my material self and been carried out from the earth to the heights.
Excuse me, but where's Nina?
And one more. Every work of art must have a clear and concise purpose. You must know why you are writing. If you merely follow a seductive, aesthetic path without a definite aim, you'll lose your way. No talent will be your downfall.
Where's Nina?
She's gone home.
What am I going to do? I have to see her. I'm going after her.
Calm yourself.
This way, I'm going after her. I have to.
Please, come inside, Constantine Devilish. The mother is waiting. She's worried about you.
Tell her I've gone out. And please, all of you, leave me alone. Stop following me around.
Come, Costa. You mustn't go on like this. It's not right.
Goodbye, Doc. Thank you.
There's nothing else to say. People always say, youth, youth.
Oh, that's disgusting. Well, there's music from the house. We'd better go in.
Wait,
What is it?
I want to tell you something. I wanted to before. I can't talk to my father, but you and I feel we have a lot in common. You're close to me. Please help me. Help me, or I'll do something silly. I'll make a mess of my life. I'll ruin it. I can't go on.
What's the matter? What could I do?
I'm suffering so much. Nobody knows how much pain I'm in. I love Constantine.
What bundles of nerves you all are. And so much love. And magic way. But what can I do, my child? What?
1,000 years old. And often I wish I were dead. Of course, that's all nonsense. I ought to shake myself and throw it up.
And then, I was particular about myself as an English duchess. My dress and hair are always comme il faut. I would never leave the house in a dressing gown or with my hair a mess, even to come into the garden. And the reason I look so young is because I've never been sloppy with my body or let myself go as some people do. There, you see? I'm light as a bird, ready to play 15 anytime.
Admirable. But if you don't mind, we stopped at the corn merchant and the rat.
And the rats. Yes, go on. Well, let me have it. It's my turn. I'll do it. And the rat. Here we are. Thus, although it is as dangerous for society people to entice novelists into their homes as it is for corn merchants to breed rats in their granaries, nevertheless, writers are much in demand. And when a woman has chosen a writer she wishes to capture, she lays siege to him with all manner of flattery and favor. Well, that may be true in France, but certainly not in Russia. We're not that calculated. Here, of course, a woman is almost always in love with a writer before she sets out to capture him. Take Seagull and me, for example.
Yes? So we're happy today, eh? We're happy at last. Oh, such fun. Well, our father and stepmother have gone to Tver, and we're free for 3 whole days.
I'm so happy now I belong to you.
She's looking very pretty today.
Neatly dressed and interestingly. But we mustn't compliment her too much. It may bring her bad luck. Where's Gregorin?
He's down by the lake fishing.
I'm amazed he's not sick of it yet.
What are you reading?
Maupassant's on the water. Well, the rest is dull and completely untrue. I'm feeling anxious and troubled. Tell me, what's the matter with my son? Why is he so moody and bad-tempered? He spends whole days by the lake. I hardly ever see him. He's so troubled.
Would you recite something from his play?
Do you really want me to? It's so uninteresting.
When he reads anything himself, his eyes glow, his face turns pale. He's a beautiful, sad voice, and the look of a poet.
Sweet dreams.
Patricia, you're sleepy.
Oh, go on now.
It's so foolish of you, dear, not to take any medicine.
Well, I want to take some, but the doctor, he won't let me have any.
Cure-alls at 60?
Well, even at 60, one wants to live.
Oh, all right then. Take some valerian drops.
I think he ought to take the water.
Well, let him take the waters if he wants to. Or not if he doesn't.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's perfectly clear.
I think Fyodor Nikolaevich should give up smoking.
Oh, rubbish.
No, it's not rubbish. Liquor and tobacco rob us of ourselves. When you drink or smoke, you're not Fyodor Nikolaevich anymore. You become something else. You begin to think of yourself not as me, but as him, in the third person.
Well, it's all very well for you to say that. You've had a good life. But what about me? I spent 28 years in a law court. I haven't lived. I haven't experienced a thing. So why shouldn't I want to start right now? Well, you've had yours, so you can talk. But I want to enjoy myself. And that's why I drink sherry after dinner and smoke cigars and so forth. That's why.
It's true living is a serious matter. But when it comes to taking cure-alls at 60 and complaining that you didn't enjoy life when you were young, and all that, if you forgive me, is just silly.
It must be time for lunch. My foot's asleep.
She'll have 2 vodkas before lunch.
She gets no pleasure from life.
Rubbish, Your Excellency.
You talk like a man who's had everything.
What could be more boring than this dull country life? Nobody does anything. Everyone's philosophizing. It's lovely to be with you, my friends, of course. It's nice to hear you talk. But how much lovelier it would be to be alone in my hotel room, studying my part.
Oh, yes, I understand you completely.
Well, of course it's better in here, in town. You sit in your study, no one comes in unannounced. You have a telephone, there are taxis in the street, and all that.
Here now. Good morning to you. Delighted to see you looking so well. My wife tells me you wish to drive into town with her today. Is this true?
Yes, we're going to town.
Well, that's very nice, dear lady, but how do you propose to get there? We're karting ride today. The men are busy, and what horses can I spare?
What horses? How should I know what horses?
Why, the carriage horses, of course.
Oh, the carriage horse. And where am I to get collared? Well, this is really extraordinary. Incredible. Dear lady, you must excuse me. I'm on my knees before your talons, and I'm prepared to give you 10 years of my life, but not let you have any horses.
What if I have to go to town? This is really the limit.
My dear lady, you do not realize what it is to run a farm.
The same old story. If that's the case, I'm going back to Moscow today. Send someone to the village to hire the horses, or I'll walk to the station.
In that case, I resign my position. Find yourself another manager.
It's like this every summer. Every summer I get insulted. I am never setting foot here again.
Oh, enough of that, man. I've had more than enough of it. I want every one of those horses brought here at once.
To refuse to beg of the Irina Nikolaevna, why even her slightest wish, her smallest whim is more important than your silly farming. It's just incredible. What can I do? Imagine if you were me. What can I do?
We'll go find my sister. We'll plead with her not to leave, won't we? Oh, that man is impossible. He's a tyrant.
Please sit down. Sit down. I'll push you. This is all so terrible.
Yes, it's terrible. But he won't get away with it. I'll give him a piece of my mind.
People are so tiresome. Your husband, of course, should have been fired years ago. But in the end, it'll be Pyotr Nikolaevich and his sister who will apologize. You'll see.
What he did was send the carriage horses into the fields, of course. Every day it's something else. If only you knew how it upsets me. He makes me ill. Look, I'm trembling. I can't bear his coarseness. Eugene, my darling, please, take me away with you. Time is passing. We're not young anymore. If only before our days end, we could stop hiding. Stop lying.
I'm 55. It's too late for me to change now.
I see. You won't because you want other women too. Well, of course, I suppose you can't take us all home with you. I'm sorry if I bothered you. You must be very tired.
No, I'm not tired of you.
I'm suffering from jealousy. Of course, you're a doctor and you can't avoid women. I understand that.
What's happening in there?
Irina Nikolaevna is crying and Pyotr Nikolaevich is having an asthma attack.
I'll go give them some valerian drops.
For you.
Merci bien.
What pretty flowers. Give them to me.
How strange to see a famous actress crying over such a small thing. And how funny that famous writer is everybody's favorite and mentioned every day in the papers. His picture is sold all over it, his books are translated into other languages. You should spend whole days fishing and be really pleased when you've caught 2 fish. I thought famous people were proud and unapproachable. They contempt and that they use their fame and glamour to revenge themselves on the world for having put birth and money first. It seems they cry, fish and play cards, laugh, and lose their tempers like everybody else.
Are you alone?
Yes? What's that supposed to mean?
I was vile enough to kill this seagull today. My lady.
What's the matter with you?
I'm going to kill myself the same way soon.
You look strange. I hardly recognize you.
And I've stopped recognizing you. You changed toward me. Your eyes are cold. My presence seems to embarrass you.
You're so irritable lately. You talk in symbols. This is a symbol too. I'm sorry, but I don't understand it. I'm afraid I'm too simple to understand you.
This all began the evening my play failed. Women never forgive failure. Well, I burnt the play down to the last page. I only knew how I felt. Being enclosed in me is so terrible. I can hardly believe it. It's as if I'd woken up and found the lake had dried up and sunk into the earth. You say you're too simple to understand. What is there to understand? You didn't like my play? You don't like my work? And now you think I'm worthless and unimportant just like everyone else does. How well I recognize that thought. How well. It's like a nail being driven into my head. No. The hell with my pride. It's sucking up my blood like a leech. Here comes the real genius. He walks like Hamlet. And with a book, too. Words, words, words. The sun has hardly reached you. Already you're smiling. Your eyes are melting in his rays. I won't stand in your way.
Takes snuff and drinks vodka. Always wears black. Schoolmaster is in love with her.
Good morning, Boris Alexeyevich.
Good morning. The events seem to have taken an unexpected turn, and I'm afraid we're leaving today. We aren't likely to meet again, you and I, and I'm sorry. I don't often meet young and charming girls. I've forgotten how it is to be 18 or 19. Can't picture it at all. That's why the young girls in my stories and novels are usually so unconvincing. I'd like to be in your shoes for just an hour. See through your eyes and find out what you're thinking and what kind of person you are.
And I'd like to be in your shoes.
Why?
To know how it feels to be a famous writer. What's it like to be famous? How does it make you feel?
How? I don't know. I don't think I ever thought about it. One of two things. Either you're exaggerating my fame or I'm not feeling it.
Since you read about yourself in the papers.
When they praise me, I'm pleased. When they hate me, I feel bad for a day or two.
What an extraordinary world. If you only knew how I envy you. Look how different people's fates are. Some just drag through their miserable, inconspicuous lives, each one just like the next, and all terribly unhappy. While others like you are one in a million, you are destined to have such a bright, interesting, worthwhile life. You should be very happy.
Me? I hear you talk about fame and happiness, a bright, interesting life, but to me, these are words which, if you'll forgive me, are about as meaningful as sugar plums, which I don't eat. You're very young and very kind.
You have a beautiful life.
What's so beautiful about it? I have to get back to work, excuse me. I have to go in. You've stepped on my toes, as they say, and I'm beginning to get a little excited and angry. So let's talk. Let's talk about my bright and beautiful life. Where shall we begin? Do you know how sometimes violent obsessions take hold of a person? The moon, for example. Day and night they think about nothing but the moon. Well, I have a moon. Every day and every night I'm obsessed with one thought. I have to write, I have to write, I have to write, I have to write. I've hardly finished one novel when somehow I have to write another, and then a third, and after a third, a fourth. And I write without stopping, and always at lightning speed. That's the only way I can write. What's so beautiful and bright about that? Life is really crazy. Here I'm talking to you and excited, but at the same time, I can't forget for a single instant there's an unfinished story waiting in my room. I see that cloud up there. It's shaped like a grand piano. Instantly, I make a mental note to put it in my story. A cloud sailed by like a grand piano. The smell of heliotrope. Immediately, I make a note of it. A sickly smell. The widow's color. I'll use that when I describe a summer evening. I capture every sentence you or I say to lock away in my literary story. Who knows when it'll come in handy? As soon as I finish working, I race off to the theater or go fishing, hoping to find a little rest. But no, a new idea comes into my head like a cannonball, and I'm back at my desk writing and writing and writing. It's always that way. I give myself no rest. I feel I'm consuming my own life. For the honey I'm giving someone I don't know, I'm robbing my best flowers of their pollen, and I'm tearing up those flowers and trampling on them. I think I'm crazy. Well, do my friends speak to me as they would a sane man? What are you writing now? What masterpiece are you going to give us next? And so on. Until I feel that all this praise and attention is said, as you might say, something kind to a sick man. Deceive him, soothe him, then steal up behind him and carry him off to the madhouse. And as for my young years, my best years, when I was beginning, my life was a torture. A beginning writer, especially when he's unlucky, feels awkward and unwanted. The world doesn't need him. His nerves are worn thin, and he's always at the breaking point. Still, he can't resist following around anyone who has any connection with art and literature. Where nobody recognizes him, everybody ignores him, and he's too shy to even look people straight in the face. He's like an incurable gambler without any money. I had never seen my readers, but for some reason, I had always pictured them as hostile and suspicious. I had a deathly fear of the theater audience. It terrified me. Whenever a new play of mine was produced, I had a feeling that the dark-haired people in the audience were hostile, and the blonde ones cold and indifferent. Well, how horrible all that was. It was really torture.
But surely the inspiration you feel and the act of creation itself must give you moments of great ecstasy.
Yes. When I'm writing, I enjoy it. And when I'm reading my proofs, I enjoy that. But the moment it's published, I hate it. I see it's not what I meant, and I get angry and depressed. Then the public reads it. Yeah, it's very charming and clever, but a long way from Tolstoy. Or it's good, but Turgenev's Fathers and Sons is better. Until my dying day, that's what they'll say. Charming and clever, but nothing more. And when I'm dead, my friends will stand around my grave saying, "Here lies Turgenev. He was a good writer, but not as good as Turgenev."
Forgive me, but I refuse to understand you. You're simply spoiled by success.
What success? I've never liked myself, and I don't like my work. And the worst of it is, I live in a daze. Often, I don't even understand what I'm writing. I love this lake, the trees, the sky.
I have a feeling for nature. It stirs up a kind of passion in me, an irresistible urge to write. But I'm not only a landscape artist. I'm also a citizen, and I love my country and its people. And I think that if I'm a writer, I should be writing about them, about their suffering and their future, about science and the rights of man, and so on. So I write on all subjects, always in a big hurry, being pushed at from all sides, and people are angry with me. I run around like a fox pursued by the hounds. I see science and society moving ahead while I'm falling further and further behind. Like a peasant trying to run after a train. And in the end, I feel that all I can write about are landscapes. And in everything else, I'm false. False down to my very core.
You work too hard. And you seem to have neither the time nor the wish to realize your own importance. Of course you may not be satisfied with yourself, but other people think you're a great man. If I were a writer like you, I would give my life to people knowing that they could only be happy by raising themselves to my level. They would draw my chariot.
Well, a chariot. Do you think I'm Agamemnon?
For the glory of being a writer or an actress, I enjoy suffering. The disapproval of my family and friends, poverty and disappointment. I'd live in a garret and eat dry bread, and I'd go through agonies over my own shortcomings. In return, I would demand fame, real resounding fame. Oh, my head's spinning.
She's calling me. I suppose to go in and pack. But I don't feel like leaving. Look how beautiful it is. Glorious.
Do you see the house with the garden on the other side of the lake?
Yes.
That was my mother's house. I was born there. I spent all my life like this in our northern little island on it.
It's very charming. What's this?
A seagull. Constantly shot it.
Beautiful bird. I really don't want to leave here.
Why don't you try and persuade Irina Nikolaevna to stay?
What are you writing?
Just a note. An idea struck me for a short story. A young girl, like you, has lived all her life by a lake. She loves it the way a seagull does. She's happy and free like a seagull. But a man comes and sees her. Because he has nothing better to do, he destroys her. Like this bird.
Where are you?
Coming! What is it?
We're staying.
It's a dream.
I'm telling you this because you're a writer. You can use it if you want to. And it's the truth. If he had died when he shot himself, I wouldn't have lived another minute. But I'm getting more brave. I've made up my mind to tear love out of my heart by the roots.
How are you going to do it?
I'm going to marry Medvedenko.
The schoolmaster?
Yes.
Is that necessary?
married, I'll have no time for love. New worries will make me forget. Anyway, it'll be a change, won't it? Can we have another?
Haven't we had enough?
No. Don't look at me like that. A lot of women drink, you know. Most of them don't do it openly like I do. They do it in secret. Yes. And it's always vodka or cola. Good help. You're a nice man. You need to be around. Sorry you're going.
I don't really feel like leaving.
Then why don't you ask her to stay?
She wouldn't do that. Her son is behaving very tactlessly. First he tries to shoot himself, and now they say he's going to challenge me to a duel. What for? Sulks and snorts and preaches about new art forms. There's room enough for everyone, the new and the old. Why push and shove?
He's jealous, of course. But that's none of my business. My schoolmaster's not too smart. But he's good. And he's poor. And he loves me very much. And I feel sorry for him. And for his own mother. Let me wish you all the luck. I'm kind of you. I'm grateful for your interest in me as a friend. Send me a book. And don't forget to author it. Oh, please, don't write with best wishes. Too quick. Too much. He doesn't know where she comes from or why she is living in this world. Goodbye.
Odd or even?
Even.
No, I only have one key in my hand. I was trying to find out my future, whether to become an actress or not. I wish someone would tell me what to do.
No one can tell you but yourself.
You're going away, and we'll probably never see each other again. So I'd like you to have this little medallion to remember me. I had your initials engraved on it, and on the other side is the title of your book, Days and Nights.
What a lovely thing to do. It's a beautiful present.
Think of me sometimes.
I will think of you. I'll think of you as I saw you on that sunny day. Do you remember? A week ago, you had on your white summer dress. We talked, and there was a white seagull lying on the bench.
Yes, a seagull. Someone coming. Let me see you for 2 minutes before you leave. Please?
Better stay home, Yogi. With your rheumatism, you're not up to running around visiting people. Who just went out? Nina.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We intruded. I think I've packed everything. I'm exhausted.
Days and Nights, page 121, lines 11 and 12.
Should I pack the fishing rods too, sir?
Yes, I'll want them again. But you can give away the books.
Yes, sir.
Lines 11 and 12, what are they?
Do you have my books anyplace in the house?
Yes. The author study, the corner bookcase. Petrushia, you should stay home.
You're going away. It's lonely without you here.
Well, what's there to do in town?
Why, there's nothing to do in town, of course, but they're laying the cornerstone of the new council house and so on and so forth. And I've been laying around here like an old pipe. I've got to shake myself out sometime. Now, I've ordered the horses for one, and we're leaving together.
Very well. But try not to get too bored when you come back. You have to go on living here, you know. Try to avoid catching cold. And take care of Constantine. Advise him. Here I am leaving, and I don't even know why he tried to kill himself. But I suppose the main reason is jealousy, and the sooner I take you going away from here, the better.
Well, I don't know. There may be other reasons, too. Here he is, young and intelligent and living isolated in the country with no money and no position. There's no future. But he has nothing to do. He's ashamed of that and frightened of it. Well, now I love him very much, and I think he loves me, too. But he feels he's superfluous in this house. A dependent or a poor relation. You and I can understand that. It's a question of pride.
That boy is such a worry to me. He should find himself a job in the civil service or something.
Well, I don't think it would be such a bad idea if you were to, well, give him some money. You see, he really ought to have some decent clothes. He's been wearing that same old jacket for 3 years, and he doesn't even have an overcoat. And it wouldn't be so terrible for a young man to have a little fun. Go abroad maybe for a while. Now, it wouldn't cost that much, would it?
Well, I don't know. I suppose I could manage a new suit, but as for going abroad, that's out of the question. I don't think I could even afford the new suit. I don't have any money.
Oh.
I don't!
Well, yes, very well. There's no need to get angry with me, my dear. You're a generous, warm-hearted woman.
I don't have any money.
Well, of course, if I had any, I would give him some. But I don't have any. Jean-Marie grabs my old pension and spends it on the farm so he can raise cattle and bees. And all my money goes right down the drain. The damn bees die, the cows die, and whenever I want a carrot, the horses are being used elsewhere.
Well, of course I have something. But I'm an actress after all. And the cost of my costumes alone is enough to ruin me.
Oh, you're a kind and generous woman, my dear, and I respect you, I do. I'm afraid I don't feel so well again. My head is swimming, I feel funny. Something's coming over me.
Patricia, darling, help! Help me! He's feeling sick.
Oh, it's nothing. It's really nothing. It's going away.
Don't be alarmed, Mother. Uncle has these attacks often now. You must go and lie down now, Uncle.
For a little while, yes. But I'm going to town anyway. I'm going to lie down for a little while, and then I'm going into town. Now that's clear, isn't it?
Have you heard this riddle, sir? What goes on 4 legs in the morning, on 2 at noon, on 3 in the evening,
And at night on its back. Yes, I've heard that riddle. Thank you very much. I can manage myself.
No need to stand on ceremony with me, sir.
How he frightened me.
Well, it isn't good for him to live in the country. He gets too depressed. You should suddenly feel generous and lend him 1,000 or even 2. He could spend a whole year in town.
I don't have any money. I'm an actress, not a banker.
Can you change my bandage for me, Mother? You do it so well.
The doctor's late today.
Yes, he promised to be here at 10 and it's 12 now.
Sit down. You look as if you're wearing a turban. Yesterday, somebody asked them in the kitchen what nationality you were. The wound is almost healed. Just a little scar. You won't do anything silly again while I'm away, will you?
No, Mother. It was a moment of despair. I didn't didn't have any control over myself. It won't happen again. You have such golden hands, Mom. I remember a long time ago, when you were still playing the public theaters. I was very young then. There was a fight in the court. And one of the other tenants, a washerwoman, was almost beaten to death. Do you remember? She was unconscious when we picked her up. And we nursed her. And took medicine to her. Washed her children in the tub. Do you remember?
No.
There were 2 young ballerinas living in that same house. You used to have them over for coffee.
I remember that.
And they were terribly pious, weren't they? These past few days, Mother, I've loved you as innocently and completely as when I was a child. I mean, why do you let yourself fall under the influence of that man?
Constance, you don't understand me as a very noble character.
When he was told I was going to challenge him to a duel, his noble character didn't stop him from being a coward. He's leaving. An ignominious retreat.
Nonsense! It was I who asked him to leave.
What a noble character. You and I are almost quarreling over him in here. And he's probably somewhere in the garden or the drawing room laughing at us. Expanding Nina's mind. Trying to convince her that he's a genius.
You seem to enjoy saying disagreeable things to me. I'll thank you not to speak badly of him in my presence again.
But I don't respect him. You want me to think he's a genius too? Well, I'm sorry. I can't lie about it. His books make me sick.
That's just envy. People with no talent are always putting down real genius. It must be very comforting to you.
Real genius? Why, I have more genius than any of you if it comes down to that. You and he and your boring old ideas. You've taken over the arts. You won't recognize or tolerate anything except your own conventional trivia. You want to sit and suppress everything else. Well, I don't accept your high, artistic opinions of yourselves. I don't accept his, and I don't accept yours.
You're decadent, that's what you are.
Go back to your precious theater and act in your trashy, third-rate play.
I have never acted in trashy third-rate plays. Why don't you leave me alone? You couldn't even write a cheap vaudeville sketch. Little bourgeois from Kiev. Sponger.
Miser.
Beggar. Non-entity. Don't cry. Don't cry, Kostya. Oh, darling, do stop. Forgive me. Forgive your wicked mother. I'm such an unhappy person. Please forgive me.
If you only knew who I felt. I've lost everything. He doesn't love me now. I can't write. I have no hope.
Don't feel like that, my darling. It'll all work out. He's leaving today. She'll love you again. There. That's enough. We've made up.
Yes, Mom.
Make up with him, too. You don't really want to duel. It's too silly.
All right. Only don't make me see him again. I couldn't stand it. That would be too much. There he is. I'm going. The doctor will bandage me. It's 121 on the 11th floor.
Never my life can be of use to you. Come and take it.
The horses will be here soon.
Never my life can be of use to you. Come and take it.
Are you packed?
Yes, yes. your heart filled with such sadness. Never in my life would be of use to you. Come and take it. Let's say another day. Let's say.
Done. I know why you want to stay. But try and control yourself. You're a little drunk. Try to be sober.
You try to be sober too. Wise and understanding. I beg you. You're capable of sacrifice. Look at it like a true friend. Be my friend. Let me be free.
Are you that infatuated?
I feel drawn toward her. Maybe she's just what I need.
The love of a little country girl. How little you know yourself.
Sometimes people seem to be talking, but they're really asleep. That's how I feel now. I'm talking to you, but I'm asleep and dreaming about her. Such beautiful, sweet, wonderful dreams are possessing me. Please let me go.
No! No, I'm an ordinary woman. You mustn't talk to me like that. Don't torture me, Boris. I'm frightened.
If you wanted to, you could be extraordinary. There exists a kind of love. Young love. It's all poetry and beauty and sweeps you off in a world of dreams. It's the only thing on earth that can ever bring real happiness. I've never known a love like that. When I was young, I never had the time. I was always too busy running from one editor's office to another, trying to earn a living. And now it's here. It's come. It's calling to me. Why run away from it?
You are out of your mind.
So what if I am?
Why are you all conspiring to torture me today?
She doesn't understand. She doesn't want to understand.
Am I so ugly and old that you can talk to me that way about other women? You're mad. My beautiful, wonderful madman. You're the last chapter in my life. My joy, my pride, my bliss. If you leave me, even for an hour, I will not survive. I'll go out of my mind, my wonderful, magnificent one, my master.
Someone might come in.
Listen, I am not ashamed of my love for you. Oh, precious, reckless boy. You want to be mad, but I won't have it. I won't let you. You're mine. Mine. This forehead is mine. These eyes are mine. This lovely, silky hair is mine. You're all mine. You're so talented and clever. The best of all the living writers and the brightest hope of Russia. You have such sincerity and simplicity. Such healthy humor. With one stroke of your pen, you go right to the heart of a character or a scene. The people in your books are so alive, it's impossible to read you without rapture. I think I'm exaggerating. Flattering. Look into my eyes. Look. Does it look as if I'm lying? You see. I'm the only one who really knows how to appreciate you. The only one who can tell you the truth. Oh, my darling, wonderful one. You will come with me, won't you? You won't leave me, will you? Ah.
I have no will of my own. Never had any will of my own. Flabby and weak and always submissive. How could I ever please anyone? Take me with you. Carry me off. Only don't let me out of your sight for a single instant.
Now he's mine. if you want to stay, you can. I'll go by myself. You can come later in a week. After all, why should you be in such a hurry?
No, we might as well go together.
Whatever you say. Together, then. What are you writing?
A phrase I heard this morning. It'll be useful. A chaste forest. I like that. So, we're going. Once more, the railway carriages, the station buffets, more stews and conversation.
I have the honor, with deep regret, to announce, dear lady, that the horses are ready. It's time to be off to the station as the train arrives 5 minutes after 2. And if you will do me a favor, Rita Nikolai, kindly inquire after the actor Spaltzev. Is he now alive? Is he well? Oh, there was a time when we drank together, he and I. He was wonderful in the Stolen Mail. And in the very same company with him and Elizabeth Grant, I remember, was the tragedian Ismailov, also a most remarkable personality. No need to hurry, dear lady, you still have 5 minutes. Once the two of them played conspirators in a melodrama, and when they were suddenly discovered, Ismailov was supposed to exclaim, "We've been caught in a trap." But instead, he said, "We've been taught in a cap." Taught in a cap.
I bought you some plums for the journey. They're so sweet, I thought you might like to have some on the train.
Thank you. You are very kind, Paulina Andreevna.
Goodbye. If there's an anything, not quite. Please.
Everything has been just fine, everything. Only please, don't cry.
Time goes by so fast.
There's nothing we can do about that.
Irina, you better start if you don't want to be late. I'm going to the carriage.
I'll walk to the station to see you off. If I walk fast, I can get there just in time.
Well, my dears, if all goes well, we'll see each other again next summer. Don't forget. Here's a ruble. Scribble freely.
We thank you very much, Father, and we wish you a good journey. We're very grateful to you.
God bless you, Rita Nikolaevna.
Good fortune, madam.
Thank you.
Don't forget to drop us a line, dear lady. Goodbye, Boris Alexeyevich.
Where's Constantine? Tell him I'm going. I want to say goodbye. Well, think of me kindly. I gave the cook a ruble for the four of you.
I forgot something. It must be in the study. It's you. We're just leaving.
I knew we'd meet again, Master Alexeyevich. I've made up my mind. The die is cast. I'm going on the stage. I won't be here tomorrow. I'm running away. I'm leaving my father and everything. I'm starting a new life. Like you, I'm going to Moscow. We'll meet there.
Stage. The Hotel Slavyansky Bazaar. Let me know as soon as you get there. Motion up the draw, please. I'm converted. You're so lovely. So happy to know we'll be together again soon. See those wonderful eyes again. Sweet, tender smile. Your face and that look of angelic purity. Darling.
Konstantin Gavrilovich. No, there's nobody here. The old man wants to know every minute where Kostya is. Can't seem to live without him.
He's afraid of being alone. It's terrible weather. It's been going on like this for 2 days now.
There are waves out there on the lake.
Pitch black in the dark. Pull down the stage. Standing there all bare and ugly like a skeleton, flapping in the wind. Last night when I went by, I thought I heard someone crying.
What next?
Masha, let's go home.
No, I'm staying here tonight.
Please, let's go home, Masha. The baby's home.
Don't be silly, not Fiona, please.
Poor thing. This is the third night now he's been without his mother.
You're getting to be such a bore. In the old days, at least you talk about other things sometimes. Now it's all baby and home, baby and home. That's all I hear from you.
Let's go, Masha.
You're by yourself.
Your father won't let me have a horse.
You will if you ask him.
I'll try. You will come home tomorrow then?
All right, tomorrow. You stop bothering me. What's up, Lily?
Oh, Pyotr Nikolaevich wants his bed made in Kostya's room all week. Oh, of course, that's true.
Well, I guess I'd better go. Goodbye, Masha. Goodbye, Mother.
Oh, why don't you just go if you're going?
Goodbye, Konstantin Gavrilovich.
Who would have thought someday you'd turn out to be a real writer, Kostya? And now, thank God the magazines are actually paying you for your work. And you've grown so handsome, dear good Kostya. Why don't you be kinder to my little Masha?
Leave him alone, Mom.
She's such a good girl. A woman doesn't ask for much, Kostya. A kind glance once in a while. That's all she wants, I know.
Look. Now you've made him angry. You shouldn't pester him, Mother.
I feel so bad for you, Masha.
That does me no good.
My heart aches for you. I see it all, you know. I understand it so well.
It's all nonsense, Mother. Unrequited love. It's something you read about in novels. It's not real. The best thing is not to brood about it. Not to sit around waiting for something to happen. If you're foolish enough to fall in love, then you have to get over it. My husband's been promised transfer to another district. And when we get there, I'll forget all about love. Tear it out of my heart, roots and all.
It's Kostya playing. You must be feeling sad.
wish they'd keep sending these transfers. I forget all about it in a month. The whole thing is so silly.
Now I've got 6 mouths to feed. Flour at 2 kopecks a pound.
And so it goes, eh?
It's easy for you to talk about it. You have more money than you know what to do with. You're rolling in it.
Rolling in it. After 30 years of practicing medicine, on call day and night, do you know how much money I've managed to save? 2,000 rubles. I've just spent that on my trip abroad. I've got nothing at all.
Haven't you gone yet?
How can I when your father won't let me have a horse?
Oh, I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
I see you've made a lot of changes. You turned the drawing room into a study.
Constantine Gavrilovich likes to work from here. He can go to the garden and think when he wants to.
Where's my sister?
She went to the station to meet your boy. She'll be right back.
You sent for my sister. I must be very sick. Now that's odd. I'm very sick, but yet you won't let me have any medicine.
Well, what would you like? Some valerian drops? Some soda? Quinine?
There he goes, the philosopher. Was a trial you are. That's bed for me.
Yes, Brother Nikolai.
I think I'd like to give Kostya a subject for a story. You could call it The Man Who Wanted, L'Homme qui a voulu. When I was young, I wanted to be a writer. I never became it. Then I wanted to speak well, and I am an abominable speaker. What I mean to say is, and so forth, and so on, and etc., and so forth. In fact, I'd go on like that, trying to sum up until I was in a sweat. Then I wanted to marry. And I didn't. And I always wanted to live in town. And here I am, ending my life in the country. So,
You wanted to become a civil councilor, and you became one.
I didn't want that. That just happened.
To be quarreling with life when you've made it to 62 is a little ungrateful, don't you think?
You're so stubborn. Can't you understand a person wanting to live?
Yes, but it's irrational. According to the laws of nature, every life has to end.
You talk like a man who already had everything. You've satisfied your hunger. You can afford to be philosophical about it. But even so, you'll be afraid when you die, too.
The fear of death is an animal fear, my friend, and we have to overcome it. Only religious people have a real reason to be afraid of dying. They believe in life after death, and they're afraid they'll be punished for their sins. You're different. First of all, you're not religious. And secondly, what sins have you committed? Only that you've served in the Ministry of Justice for 25 years.
28.
We're keeping Konstantin Gavrilovich from his work.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter.
May I ask you, Doctor, which city you most prefer abroad?
Genoa.
Why Genoa?
Because of the crowds in the streets. I love them. You go out of your hotel in the evening, and the streets are just swarming with people. You let yourself drift among them aimlessly, living their life, having the soul of the crowd pour into you. Until finally you begin to think there really might be a world spirit after all. Let the one Nina Zarechna acting in play. By the way, where is she? Where is she, and how is she?
I suppose she's well.
Someone told me she's leading a rather strange life. What do they mean by that?
It's a long story, Doctor.
Well, you can shorten it.
She ran away from home and had an affair with Todor. You knew that, didn't you?
Yes, I knew that.
Well, she had a child, and the child died. Gregor grew tired of her. He went back to his old attachments, as may have been expected. He never quite left them, in fact. He just went back and forth in his spineless way. As far as I can gather, in his private life didn't quite work out.
And down the stage?
That was worse, I believe. She made her debut at a little summer theater, a resort near Moscow. After that, she toured the provinces. Over time, I never lost sight of her. Wherever she went, I followed. She always took big parts. Her acting was crude, it lacked taste. She tended to rant, and her gestures were too stiff. Well, there were moments when she showed some talent. She screamed well and died well. That's about all.
But at least it showed she had some talent.
I can never quite make that out. It's hard to say. I suppose she must have. I saw her, of course. The baby was allowed me to tell her. I understood how she felt when she was sick. Well, what can I tell you? Afterwards, when I came home, she wrote me letters. They were warm, sensible, interesting. She never complained. But I could tell she was terribly unhappy. Every line she wrote showed how tense and tired she was. In fact, she seemed a little unbalanced. She always signed herself the Seagull. Now, in Pushkin's Riverdin, the miller keeps saying he's a crow. In the same way, in all of her letters, she kept saying she was a seagull. Now she's here.
What do you mean here?
She's staying in town at the inn. She's been here almost 5 days. I went to see her. So did Masha, but she won't see anybody. Semyon Semyonovich says he saw her last night after dinner in the field, about a mile and a half from here.
Yes, I saw her. She was walking away from here towards town. I bowed to her and asked her why she hadn't come to see us. She said she would come.
Well, she won't. Her father and stepmother won't have anything to do with her. They posted men on the estate to make sure she doesn't come anywhere near the house. How easy it is to be a philosopher on paper, Doctor. How hard in life.
She was a beautiful girl.
What's that?
I said she was a beautiful girl. State Councilor Soren was once in love with her himself for a while.
The old rascal.
They're back from the station.
Yes, I can hear Mother.
We'd all of us age and fade like the leaves in winter, gracious lady. Except you, who are always so young and full of life, wearing such fashionable clothing.
You dreadful man. Do you want to bring me bad luck?
How are you, Fyodor Nikolaevich? Are you still ill? Not good.
Ah, Maria Ilyinishna.
So you remember me?
Are you married?
A long time now.
Are you happy? Irina Nikolaevna told me you'd forgotten the past and you aren't angry with me anymore.
Look, Boris Alexeyevich has brought you the magazine with your new story.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
Your public sends you its greetings. In Petersburg and Moscow, people are very interested in your work. They ask me about you. They want to know what you're like, how old you are, what you look like. Oddly enough, most people seem to think you're an old man. And no one knows your real name. Why do you always publish under a pseudonym? Just mysterious as the man in the iron mask.
Will you be staying long?
No. I think I have to go to Moscow tomorrow. I want to finish my novel, and I promised someone something for a collection of short stories. It's always the same with me. The weather's certainly giving me a poor welcome. The wind is fierce. But tomorrow morning, if it dies down, I'm going to fish at the lake. And I want to walk around in the garden and look at the place where our play was done. Do you remember? I have an idea for a story, and I want to remind myself of where it takes place.
Papa, will you please let my husband have a horse? He has to go home.
A horse. He has to go home. Don't you understand? The horses have just come back from the station. They can't go out again in this weather.
But those aren't the only horses. It's impossible.
I can walk, Masha, really.
Walk in this weather? Well, come everyone, let's play.
After all, it's only 4 miles. Goodbye. Goodbye, Mother. I wouldn't have troubled anybody if it weren't for the baby. Goodbye.
Oh, he'll get there. After all, he's not a general. He can walk.
Please, friends, let's not lose any more time. They'll be calling us to supper.
During the long autumn evenings, we've always played lotto. This is the same set our mother used to teach us when we were children. Play with us, why don't you, until supper. It's not a thrilling game, of course, but it's pleasant enough when you...
He read his own story. And he hasn't even cut the pages on mine.
What about you, darling?
No, thank you, Mother. I don't feel like it. We're going out for a walk.
Everyone must put 10 kopecks into the bag. Put mine in for me, Doctor.
At your command.
Everybody's in? I'll start. 22.
I have it.
3.
Here it is.
You can put down 3. 8. 81. 10.
Slow down.
How they loved me in Hong Kong. My head is still spinning from it.
34.
The students there gave me an actual ovation. 3 baskets of flowers, 2 bouquets. And look at this brooch.
That is very impressive.
50.
50, you said.
I had a fabulous costume. You must admit I really do know how to dress.
Constantine is playing again. The poor boy is unhappy.
They often attack in the news.
77.
He shouldn't worry about that.
He hasn't had any luck. He can't find a style of his own. There's something vague and strange about his writing. Sometimes it's almost like delirium. And never a single living character.
11.
Petruchia, are you bored? He's asleep.
State Councilor Soren is asleep.
7. 90.
Do you think if I lived in a place like this and by a lake that I'd write? I would not. I'd overcome that passion of mine and do nothing but fish.
28.
To catch a perch. That's my idea of heaven.
Well, I, for one, believe in Constantine Gavrilovich. He has something. He thinks in images, and his stories are brilliant and full of color. I find them very moving. I'm only sorry he doesn't write people on purpose. He's very good at creating impressions. That's not quite enough yet. Irina Nikolaevna, are you glad your son is a writer?
Can you imagine? I haven't read anything of his. There's never any time.
26.
Boris Alexeyevich, you still have something.
What is it?
Well, Konstantin Gavrilovich shot a seagull once, and you asked me to have it stopped.
Did I really? I don't remember that.
66.
So dark out there. I don't know why I feel so restless.
Kostya, shut the window. There's a draft.
88.
My game, ladies and gentlemen.
Bravo! Bravo! He was a man who's always lucky in everything. And now let's have something to eat. Our famous author hasn't had anything all day. We can continue the game afterwards. Kostya, why don't you stop your writing and come have some supper?
No, thank you, Mother. I'm not coming.
Whatever you say. Rusha? Supper's ready. I want to tell you about the ovation they gave me at our club.
form. I feel that little by little I'm falling into a pattern myself. The poster proclaimed a pale face framed by dark hair. Proclaimed. Framed by dark hair. Horrible. It's trite. I'll start when the hero is awakened by the rain and cut out the rest. The description of a moonlit night is too long and precious.
Sir Doran has his method all worked out. It's easy for him. A broken piece of bottle lies glittering on the dam. The mill wheel casts its dark shadow. He's got his moonlit night. But I have to bring in the shimmering light, the soft twinkling of the stars, the distant sound of a piano dying away on the fragrant air. It's awful. It's agony. I think more and more it's not a question of old or new form. What matters is to write. You're not thinking about any form. And allowing whatever you write to come straight from the heart. Who's that? Oh God, I can't see a thing. Someone running down the steps. Who's that? It's you. You. I knew it. All day long, my heart's been pounding. Oh, my sweet. My darling, she's come. Oh, don't cry. Let's not cry.
Someone's here.
No, there's no one.
Lock the door. Someone will come in.
No one will come in.
I know your mother's here. Please lock the door.
This door doesn't lock. But I'll put a chair against it. Don't be afraid. No one will come in.
Nothing but that. Warm and cozy here. Used to be the drawing room. Am I very changed?
Yes. You look older, and your eyes are larger. Great to see you. Why wouldn't you let me see you? Why didn't you come sooner? I know you've been here almost a week. I've been here every day. Several times a day, I stood under your window like a beggar.
I was afraid you'd hate me. I dream every night that you look at me and not recognize me. If you only knew. Since I came home, I've been coming here to walk around the lake. Many times I've been near the house and I couldn't bring myself to come in. Let's sit down. Sit and talk and talk and talk. So warm here and cozy. Mr. William, there's something that you gave me. On such a night, happy as he has a roof over his head and a warm corner of his own behind the sea. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, what was I saying? Oh yes, you gave me it. And may the Lord help all those who want it. It doesn't matter.
Nina, you're crying again. Nina.
It's nothing. It's do me good. I haven't cried in 2 years. Last night I went to the garden to see if our stage was still there. And it was. It's still standing. I began to cry then for the first time in 2 years. I felt the weight lifted from me, and I began to feel light. Look, I'm not crying now. So, you've become a writer. You're a writer and I'm an actress. You're drawing
I used to be happy as a child. I'd wake up singing in the morning. I loved you and dreamed of being famous. And now, early tomorrow morning, I leave for Yelgits. I'll travel third class with the peasants, and in Yelgits the businessmen will plague me with their attentions. Life is so sordid.
Why go to Yelgits?
I've accepted an engagement there for the winter. I have to go.
Nina, I've cursed you and hated you. I've torn up your letters and photographs. But all the time, I knew I belonged to you. My heart is yours. I can't stop loving you. Why, ever since I lost you and my work has begun to be published, my life has been unbearable agony. It's as if my youth were suddenly snatched away. I feel as if I'm 90 years old. And I've called your name. Kissed the ground where you walk. Everywhere I look, I see your face. Your smile as in the days when we were happy.
Why does he talk like that? Why does he talk like that?
I'm lonely. I'm cold. No love warms me. It's as if I were in a dungeon. Everything I write is harsh and gloomy. Please, stay, Nina. Well, if you won't stay, take me with you. Why, Nina? For God's sake.
I'll have a carriage to the gate. I'll give you off. I'll find my way alone. Give me a glass of water.
Where are you going now?
Back to town. Did you read anything I have been here?
Yes. My uncle had an attack on Thursday. We telegraphed her to come.
Why did you say this about my walk home? You ought to kill me. I'm so tired. I need to rest. Rest from the seagull. No, that's not right. I'm an actress. Yes. He's here too? Well, it doesn't matter. He doesn't believe in the theater. He always laughed at my dreams. Well, after a while, I stopped believing in them myself. Lost heart. Then there was the anxiety of love and jealousy. Always worrying about fate. I became narrow and trivial, and my acting was bad. I didn't know what to do with my hands. I couldn't even stand properly on stage or control my voice. You have no idea what it's like to know you're acting badly. I'm a seagull. So what's going to say? Do you remember once you shot a seagull? Man came along, saw the seagull and destroyed it with his tongue. I've written a short story. No, I didn't mean that. What was I saying? Oh, my acting. Yes. I'm not like that now. I'm a real actress. Enjoyed, reveling, intoxicated on stage, and I feel I'm beautiful there. And ever since I came home, I've been walking around. Walking and thinking and feeling that my mind and spirit are getting stronger every day. I think I know now, Kostya, what matters in our work, for a writer or an actor. It's not fame or glory or the things I used to dream about, but knowing how to endure, bearing the cross of faith. I have faith now, and it's no longer so painful. I think about my work, I'm not so afraid of life anymore.
Found your way. know where you're going. But I'm still whirling around in dreams and images. I can't make sense of them. I don't know what it's all for. I have no faith. I have no calling.
When I'm a great actress, come and see me play. Promise? It's late. I hardly stand anymore. You're sick.
Say, I'll bring you some supper.
No. Thank you, I can't. I really can't. The horses are right outside. Don't see me off. I'll find my way alone. Wrong here. You speak the boy. Love. Love and passion. It doesn't matter if it's a short story. How lovely it used to be, Kostya. Remember? How warm and pure and happy our life was. Our feelings were like sweet scented flowers. Remember? Now I'm alive. Silent fish dwelling in the darkest, tiny secret invisible to the eye. Being in every form of life. Every form of life that may be described as sorrow and experience. Thousands of centuries the earth has borne no living creature. Nature is formally my will. Love is the greatest thing God has made. And the wind that blows the humble field is no longer heard.
I don't know what sees her in the garden. Tell Mama. Mama would be upset.